Having a hard time finding them? Watch today's podcast or listen to it with us live right now to learn what we would do. Salon owners are some of the most amazing people on planet Earth. The only problem is sometimes their hearts are so big and they give so much of themselves to their staff and guests that it creates unintended consequences. Our goal is to change the industry by elevating the way the rest of the world sees salons, spas, and barbershops and give it the credibility that it truly deserves. This is the Salon Owner Evo Revo Show. Welcome to today's show. What is going on, Doug? Glad to have you on today. How are you?
I'm doing well. A little rainy here, but other than that, I'm doing good.
It's not like a hurricane just came through Florida or anything, though, right?
No, this is nothing like a week ago.
A week ago, you guys had a whole hurricane. I only laugh because I just go, somewhere between us with earthquakes and forest fires in California and you with hurricanes in Florida, we get the best of the weather, man. That's all I'm saying. So
here's the price you pay for living in paradise, right?
That is true. The price you pay. I like it. So I want to bring this up. And by the way, if you're on and you're listening to us live, would you do me a favor and say live? I want to make sure that everything's working and you guys can hear and see us okay. So do me a favor and say live just so I know that we're working. And I want to bring up something that came up in a group. And I honestly, it came up yesterday in our Facebook group. And I wanted to sound off on, but have you ever had one of those Facebook posts, Doug? I don't know if this is your speed or not. I don't think you ever do this one, but sometimes I'll see a Facebook post and it'll get me so fired up on the inside. I'll want to write a novel back. Do you know what I'm saying? It gets my thumbs all fired up and I'm like, okay, and then I try to decide how much time do I want to dedicate to this? So instead of firing off a novel with my thumbs, I'm going to fire off an entire podcast show with my mouth. Is that cool? Because we're going to talk about this today.
It's easier on the thumbs too.
It's a little easier on the thumbs. But here's what I'm going to show you guys, and I'm going to actually go into this group. You can see it, and you guys can learn a little bit about some insight into what we do here. Let me do this. Let's see if I can make some magic. So we have a Facebook group, and by the way, you should still see me down here. We have a Facebook group called the Profitable Salon Owners Facebook group. It's a free Facebook group. All you do is search Profitable Salon Owners. We have close to 1,000 members in there right now. It changes all the time, and goes up. Changes. That's the kind of change we're talking about. But there was a question in here that I wanted to share that really got me going yesterday by Marie. And it's not that it was a bad question. It just kind of highlighted something that I think could be a challenge. And Doug, I want to spend the whole podcast talking about this. And if you guys realize that there's some drama in that break room, do me a favor and say drama. But here's the problem, is that if the owners have their own break room with other owners and they create drama, that's no good. So here's the post. And I think it's a pretty innocent question. Marie, thanks for letting us share this and talk about it, because I think we're going to help you out massively today. Marie asked, she said, "Hello, everyone. I'm desperate to find people to work at my salon. I've tried everything, ready to give up. And can I just say, I sympathize and empathize with where you're at, but I want to talk about kind of some of these responses, because as I started to look through them, I started seeing comments like, no one wants to work or wait to build. It's so sad out there. Salons in my town are going through the same thing. It's so hard to find good coworkers. Girl, I feel you. Same here, right? There's all of these posts that were oh man, there's all these bad things going on out there, kind of confirming this idea that it's super hard to find staff. And don't get me wrong, there's some positive things in here, but I want to start with kind of what's negative about it. And I think what happens, Doug, we were just mentioning this, is that this idea that everybody's trying to show that they care. They're oh, it's horrible here too. What's the danger, Doug, in somebody saying, oh, it's horrible here, and then everybody else confirming, yep, it's horrible here too? What's the danger there?
Or you create a false reality. I mean, it's your narrative gets confirmed, and because sometimes you go through things and it seems a certain way, and if people around you start confirming it, then you start to accept it as a reality. And in truth, a lot of times it's not a reality. I mean, you have control of where you want things to go. But it's also one of those things where when you're projecting your future, it's one of Mac Newton's deals. When you project your future of where you want to be, and subconsciously your body will start doing things to get you there. So if you're projecting a salon that struggles to get employees, guess where you're going to end up?
Totally.
But if you're projecting a salon that attracts great employees, guess where you're going to end up? So you got to make sure that you're protecting that mindset. Your mindset is very important about where the rest of your body goes. and the rest of your actions go. So that's the danger, is that you get in and you start confirming a negative future, and then you start believing. So then you just start to give up. Then you start to do things even subconsciously, the way you have conversations, the mood inside of your salon. You got to be real careful that you protect that. And to that, I think we need to talk about, what's the culture that you have? What's your reputation in town with the culture that you have in your salon? Right. That's the biggest thing people miss, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think, Doug, this is kind of like two part. There's going to be one part is how do we fix the mindset? The other part is how do we fix the actions, right? Because one side, to your point, and I think as soon as I say mindset, I think there's going to be some people that are like, but if it's real that nobody's calling her, you can't tell her that it's not real. Don't deny her reality. Is like, I want to say this. Reality is created by agreements. The first agreement you make is the agreement you make with yourself. The second agreement you make is other people who will agree with you that you can find. I was watching on Netflix just the other night a documentary called The Social Dilemma. If you've seen Social Dilemma, do me a favor and type it. It's a brand new documentary out. And it said that one of the greatest challenges that exists right now, thanks to social media, is that, a lot of people go, well, hey, my reality is getting more and more confirmed, because what social media does is it will show you more people who think like you, not less people who think like you. So what that means is it's actually curating a reality around you of people who tend to agree with you. So like if this person believes that there's no stylists around, they're going to be confirmed by more people around them confirming that same reality for them. Even though I will tell you right now that inside our High Performance Salon Academy and things that we do, we have people who are rapidly picking up more stylists from other salons. They're leaving and going to these other salons because exactly the point you just said, Doug, because let's get into the practical application of this. What is your salon's culture known for in your town? And if the answer is I don't know, that tells me what I need to know.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. That's one of the things you got to curate. I mean, it's like, everybody's part of our academy. First thing we had them do is to get their team together and create a code of honor. That's just foundational. And it's like, like if you're building a building, if you have part cement, part steel, part sand, part rocks, part sticks, you build something on top of it, it's not going to hold up very well. Yeah. But if you have a reinforced steel concrete foundation and you have your building attached to it, it can hold up to a pretty big storm. So I mean, that's why that's super important. And sometimes people go through the process, set a really good code of honor, but then they never talk about it again after they do it. And so that's like having a really good foundation and just sitting a building on top of it without anchoring it to the foundation. Still doesn't do a whole lot of good. Right. I think that getting that in place and getting people casting the vision as an owner, I think that's your job, is to cast the vision for your team, so that they're excited about it. They're excited. They're talking to other people. They all know other hairdressers in other places. So are they talking about how amazing your place is to work? They're talking about amazing things that happen in your place, or are they talking about that everything sucks and we can't find anybody and maybe we're closing soon?
Right. And again, this is the same thing, right? Is like, think of it this way. And by the way, if this is helpful, would you guys do me a favor and comment helpful? Because I'm either pissing some people off or we're getting you excited. I hope it's the second, is that we're getting you excited. Think about this. If you have a staff member who's on your team who just says, none of my clients ever buy retail, that's like an infection that can start to spread through the rest of your salon. If that staff member goes, well, none of my guests ever want to buy retail, and then somebody else like, yeah, you know what? I had a hard time with selling retail the other day too. I think it's because, and you start making up and you fantasize all these experiences about all these reasons why. Well, it's probably because right now, nobody's got a job and here's what's going on. And you kind of go down this downward spiral that you suck people into like a vortex that brings in more drama, more despair, more whatever. And again, in your staff, you never want to have that, right? You never want to have that staff member say to you like, oh, it's too hard to sell retail right now because nobody's buying any product. No, that's not true. People are buying things. What the idea here is, and by the way, people are still working inside salons, but it is becoming harder to find them if you're not doing all the things to make sure you attract them. See, I could give you every tactic in the world to say you need to have a relationship with your local beauty school. You need to constantly have a job post running on every single job platform that exists. You need to have a sizzle reel, like a video sizzle reel for what it's like to work on your staff. You have to have an established means of culture and to let them know what is it like to work at the salon. You need to have things like a digital associate training program that actually shows them what their progress will be. You need to have an education-focused system. You need to be working with new stylists fresh out of beauty school to develop them through an associate program that trains them and puts them in good perspective. I can tell you a million ways to make sure you attract clients to your salon.
Yeah, and it may take you a hot minute to put this stuff together. You can't just flip a switch. I mean, that's one of the things.
Correct.
I see it all the time in the industry is people, they get comfortable. Well, I'm fully staffed, or I feel like I'm fully staffed, so I don't do anything for recruitment. Right. And then all of a sudden, a few people get pregnant, or people move out of town, or they leave.
Or you have a global pandemic and have your staff leave to stay home forever.
And now then I'm like scrambling because I haven't done anything. So I think being consistent and keeping those relationships with the schools going, keeping people going through an amazing associate program. So they're talking about that. If you get someone going through your associate program, they graduated with other people, and their experience is dramatically different than the other people's experience. They're having those conversations.
Right. And I think there's
one other thing I want to throw up real quick.
Go ahead.
You were bringing up the retail that I just can't sell retail. We had one of our stylists one time that got in that mind. Oh, everybody's getting it from Amazon, or they're getting it from I forget the name of the big chain place that carry Ulta. So they were, all my clients get their stuff from there. And in reality, I say, okay, well, how many clients? Just name me. So she could come up with two names out of hundreds of clients.
How many clients?
Right. And so that's, what we're talking about is the mental part of where you set yourself and so she just quit doing all the things that she needed to do in order. She quit prescribing. She quit talking about retail. She just dropped it completely. And so, of course, her retail sales suffered. So we talked about that. Says, okay, look, let's just pretend like, that everybody's going to, and just do these things, talk about these things, do these actions for a month. Right. So her RTS went from 7% to 21% in a month.
Come on, man, that's awesome.
And it's all but it's the same thing. If you're telling yourself that there's no one out there and it's hard to find people, then you're subconsciously stopping doing the things that you need to do to attract them. Just start doing the right things. And it's going to take you a little while. It's not a magic pill.
Right.
Get it built and do it, and then it will start to just bring people to you. Especially like now. I mean, we were fortunate that we had, after all this going on, with people knocking our door down because of the reputation that we have in town. And, even people moving in from out of town, relatives moving back and stuff. So, oh, you got to come work here. So that's not an accident. That's not a twist of luck. It's because we're very conscious about how we build that culture, and how our people feel about where they work. And our people our staff are the best advertisement we got, because we curate a culture that creates a great lifestyle and future for them.
Yeah. By the way, I'm going to give you guys some more hot tips on how to make sure that you recover quickly and you become the go-to resource that magnetically attracts clients and customers. But before we do that, I've got a quick, we're going to do a live commercial today. Never done a live commercial. We're going to do a live commercial real quick, and we'll be back in just about 1 minute. So here we go. I'm going to roll this commercial. Hey, look, I'm rolling a live commercial. That's literally how this works. So here's the thing I wanted to share with you guys is that we have coming up literally on October 19th is something called our Salon and Spa 2020 Bounce Back event. If you've been impacted by COVID-19 at all in your salon, and I know almost every salon has, we realized that we need to do more than just do our podcast and do our little trainings and all these other things that we do on a daily basis that's free. We wanted to do something in a much bigger way, completely for free for salons. And we're doing an all-day training on Monday, October 19th, 2020, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. And basically all it is going to be a one-day training focused on you, talking about how do you get staff, how do you get your clients to come back. And if you want to register, all you have to do is comment with the word bounce back. We'll send you the information, or you can go on our website and get registered there. We're going to talk about growing your profit, attracting guests, what protocols do you need in place, how do you get leadership going, growing your salon. We're even going to show you how to make an extra $75,000 per year with your salon with a couple of changes. And if you've never been to any of our digital trainings, this shows you what it's like. We're also going to give you, if you sign up this week, by the way, just quick shout out to two of our sponsors. Mevo 2 by Millennium is one of our official sponsors, and also Salon Scale. We're going to be sharing with you some amazing stuff that I think is just going to knock your socks off. So do me a favor, comment with the word bounce back, and we'll get you all the information, and the team will drop the link right inside the chat right now for you so you guys can get access to that. See, there we go. Live commercial. How'd that work for you, Doug?
Amazing.
Wasn't that good? It's like it was pre-recorded. It was so perfectly executed. So, okay, we were talking strategies, right? We were talking strategies about this. And we want to make sure that, like, again, this idea that, like, if you're confirming your reality, if you're looking to confirm your reality, so if you're complaining about what's going on, it's so bad, you're looking for people to confirm. But you know what happens is people who want to show that they care, want to show that they empathize with you and do all those things, they'll tell you, yeah, it's horrible out there. We should probably all quit and just go home. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be around people who just confirm the negative reality. I want to be around people. Ready, Doug? I'm gonna slap you. You ready? Right? I want to be around people that slap me in the face when I'm getting silly. Like, you remember those old movies, Doug, that, like, when somebody gets crazy, like, I can't take it anymore. And then they shake them. They're like, get a grip on yourself, man. Get a grip. And they shake you and you're like, whoa, sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. What we do in the academy is when you get crazy, we shake you back to your reality and not the reality that you did, because you're in a false reality trying to think of, like, all these crazy things that are happening. Like, you know, right now, during this time of COVID and all these other things that are going on, there are some salons that did worse after they came back from COVID, and some salons that are doing better. Let me ask you, which do you want to be? Do you want to be the better, or do you want to be worse? You guys, do me a favor, type in the chat. Like, I want to know literally, which reality are you trying to create? A better reality or a worse reality? Because whichever one you find, or whichever one you talk about and you work on and you post about and you do all these things, you will get more confirmation of that reality the more you look for it. So let me just ask you, do you want to spend time working on that life sucks reality or the life is amazing reality? I choose every single day to surround myself with as many people as possible that confirm this is amazing, which is why, again, when we do the Bounce Back event or inside our main academy, we are constantly surrounding people with other salons that are brainstorming, coming up with great new ideas and sharing, so they don't get stuck in that negative spiral mindset. Because, Doug, you've seen that, right? In other salon owner groups and in other places, like, people can just get really negative and talk about, oh, my staff's a waste of time, and I wish there was good staff to hire, but I can't find any out there, and, like, all the brands are out to get me. I mean, you see all that stuff, right? In all these salon owner groups.
Yeah, and the problem, and I guess it'd be a little slap in the face thing, but the problem is it's the leader. I mean, if how are you leading your staff? What are you saying? What conversations are you saying? Because the fact of the matter is, this is one of the most amazing industries to be in. It's one that gives you one of the best lifestyles. It was some of the greatest people. I mean, it's a great industry to be in. And sometimes we forget that, and we don't treat it that way. We don't embrace it that way. We don't put that out there for people. So, I mean, if you're just talking about what sucks about things, well, you know, you can always, as I always tell people, you can get up in the morning and do a gratitude of what you're thankful for, and you see the positive in your day, or you can get up and do a what sucks about life list every morning. And guess what you're going to see? What sucks about life. Yeah. And you have a choice. You have a choice whenever you get up of what you're going to choose. How are you going to set your mindset? What are you doing to set your mindset in a position to where you're going to see the positive? Because then you have the opportunity. It's all sitting out there. You got to choose to see it or not to see it. I think everyone here would agree. If you agree, type in the comments that this is an amazing. This is an amazing industry to be in. Yeah. So let's treat it that way, and that's going to attract the right people to it and elevate the industry. It's not a second choice. It's not a throwaway thing. If you're in that, you need to get out. Yeah. If that's your mindset.
I think it's Doug. It's that idea of, like, what you focus on will find you, right? Is like every single day that you're operating as a salon owner, if you're looking for staff that's not productive, you'll find staff that's not productive. If you're looking for staff that's incredible, you'll find staff. Now, that doesn't mean that, like, here's what I think people do, Doug. They'll go, okay, I'm going to change my mindset, Jason. Watch this. And then one day they change their mindset. Well, there's an abundance of people. Where are they? See, I told you. I told you. They don't exist. But, like, here's the thing, right? You got to think one way first, and then that thought process will create new actions for you. And all of a sudden you'll go, well, if there are an abundance of people, you ask yourself a different question, right? You start out asking yourself, well, if there are a bunch of people in my town that are amazing stylists that maybe just don't know we exist, how would I go about finding them? Well, they could be either coming out of beauty school, they could be working for somebody else and not be happy with the culture fit there, but they're a better culture fit for us. Or maybe there's somebody who got out of the industry because they were a booth renter and they were so stressed out about all the regulations and requirements, they just said, forget it, and they threw in the towel, but they're desperate to go work in another environment. So I would actually start writing job postings that say, did COVID get you down? Were you tired of working on your own and sick of wanting to do things having an issue doing things completely on your own? Are you ready to work with a team of people committed to growing you and your success together as a team? If so, our salon that has been in the industry for over 30 years, that has helped this many people to do all these other things, is looking for some new people to add to our team that are committed to excellence, who want to make sure their clients are the most beautiful people on planet Earth, and that want to be around other people on a regular basis with the right mindset.
One thing I'd say too, I think the mindset to go with here as a business owner is you've got to get the mindset that I am the pathway for people to have amazing lives.
Yeah.
When you get that, that's what then that filters down to everything you do. Then one, you need to be creating that environment inside of your salon. Two, you need to be attracting people that way and be excited about what you have to offer them. Yeah. Then I can help you have the life of your dreams. Do what you love to do, make great money, take great vacations, do all those things. I can show you how to do that. If you're interested in that, come on, let's go. Let's get with it.
Yeah, and I think this is the last point I'll make. And then, by the way, I want you guys to type in the comments, what's been the most helpful thing so far? You've been typing in the word helpful, but type in what was the most helpful thing out of this podcast. Maybe it was just that we were fired up, or maybe it was when I was slapping people around. I don't know. But you tell me what was your favorite part of the podcast today? And this is the last thing. If you don't have successful stylists on your team, meaning your staff is not making money, you're not bringing guests through the door, here's what I would say. If you had 5 people on your staff that are all earning $75,000 to $100,000 a year, people would beat down the door to come work at your salon, right? They would. Success breeds more success. So the question becomes, how successful can your salon be? And this is why it's not a one size fits all or one strategy model. It's like when your employees are wildly successful, when they're buying new houses, buying new cars, they're having the lifestyle they want, they're able to go on the vacations they want, they're having the lifestyle that they want, more people are going to say, I want that lifestyle. But I'll never forget, man, there was one gal that I talked to. She said, Jason, nobody wants to work full time. Everybody wants to work part time here. And I said, well, okay, so talk to me about it. And she just said, well, I just bring on part timers because it's easier for me to bring on. I'm like, well, okay, is it because you're trying to just bring on part-time people, or is there a level of reality that's being created because of what you're looking for or what you're doing? What is actually creating it? And what we ended up getting, what we found out is that it had more to do with every time that somebody found out that everybody was part-time, then they just said, well, then I'll just be part-time. And so I said, well, why don't you start looking for different people, looking for people who want to be full-time, looking for people who want to grow their income, not people who want to supplement their income. And it totally changed how she was advertising. All of a sudden, she was getting full-time staff that were wanting to be there long-term, and it just made such a massive difference inside her business. And it grew by hundreds of thousands of dollars just because she started looking for something different. So my challenge to you as you're listening to this podcast today is I want you to look and I want you to listen for something different than the reality you think you're stuck in, because you can either commiserate with people or you can cooperate with people. And my goal is not to have anybody commiserate ever again. And again, this is why this one post got an entire dang podcast, is no commiserating, only cooperating. Doug, what do you want to say as we close, man?
Yeah, I mean, just think about your mindset. Think about your mindset and how that's affecting how you're approaching your days, how you're approaching your staff, how you're approaching this issue. Look at it as an opportunity to build the salon of your dreams. If you're a little short-staffed right now, say you got an opportunity to put all the right people in place. Just go out there and start doing the things you need to do to attract them to you. And I'm telling you, you got to do it. It's not magic, but it's a process, and it definitely works.
The fastest way to get attention is post something negative. Fastest way to do it. But if you post something positive, you've got to work on it yourself and get that encouragement. So do me a favor, go out there, be positive for the people on your staff, get them to think about what they're talking about in the break room and you yourself as a salon owner, think about positive things. And if you want to join a bunch of other positive salon owners, because what I will say is there was some amazing other comments in there that turned people's mindset around, then do us a favor, come join about 1,000 other salon and spa owners that are inspired every single day in our salon and spa owner group. All you do is go on and search Profitable Salon Owners on Facebook, and you'll find us. And then come and take a look. And one more, just plug on this, come and join. We'll probably have close to 500 or 1,000 other salon owners that join us for our salon and spa bounce back event Monday, October 9th. And all you have to do is comment with the word bounce back to get yourself a free ticket. All right, thanks for joining us on the podcast today. Can't wait to see you next week, every Thursday at 8:30 Pacific. We'll see you guys on next week's podcast. Bye for now.
Later.
Thanks for listening to the Evo Revo Podcast. If you liked today's episode, please subscribe, leave us a review, and you can always get more information, including show notes and the video episodes at evorevopodcast.com.